Hi, this is Jackie Turner. I'd like to tell you about my data visualization project. It's about cocktails, and it's based on a data set of cocktails from Hotaling Co. So just to tell you a little bit about that data set, I found it on Kaggle, and the data set itself has various columns. The ones that were of the most interest to me were really the cocktail, the location, and the ingredients. So basically this has a set of all the cocktails in a sample and all of their ingredients in this ingredients field. So now that I have my cocktail data set, what I really want to know is, how do cocktail ingredients compare across the US? What are some of the trends that we're seeing? What are combinations of ingredients, and what are the compositions like of the different cocktails? So I'm hoping to be able to visualize all that type of information. So these are the things I want to know. To get me started, I've got some sketches here. This first sketch shows a bar chart, and this is really to go along with that tool of being able to filter out ingredients and get some information. So here I've got a bar chart that's showing me the different ingredients across the axis here. And I've got within the bar chart, it's got the different names of the cocktails. Got some filters over here that the user can do to help filter the bar chart. So this is really to help answer those questions of what are, the ingredient pairings, if I include bourbon, what does the set look like? So that's one possibility. The next one is really capturing, using that location data to capture the trends across the locations. And here I'm just thinking about what are the top trends. So what are the top types of liquor? What are the top non-alcoholic ingredients? And even thinking about maybe the words in the cocktail names. So once I did that, I was able to put together some prototypes. This first prototype is really trying to capture that first sketch where basically we've got a bar chart that here is showing the different ingredients in the cocktails, and we've got a color key that shows the different types of alcohol. This is right now showing some interactivity because we've got the different names as you hover over these ingredients. It's also got some filter ability. It's not kind of interactive from the user in this prototype state. This right now, though, the ingredients are filtered to see what is paired with egg whites. And for the prototype, if you'd like, you can go into the code and kind of tweak some of the variables in there to choose different ingredients. So this is a starting point to sort of build onto with the actual visualizations. The next prototype that I have is more of a simple prototype, and it doesn't really tell you that much except that this really is a starting point for showing the different locations within the data set on the map. So these are the different locations within the sample, and what I'm doing here is getting those on the map so I can prepare to sort of show some of the trends in the next steps. So that leads me to the visualizations. This first visualization is really capturing that filtering tool. And what you see here are the top 20 ingredients on the axis here. And we've got this drop-down menu that will allow us to select the different alcohol types. One thing to note is that all the aggregations are being done within the code. So as you're selecting the alcohol type, it is filtering the results. And so what you can see here with nothing filtered, we've got these are our top 10 or top 20 ingredients. So we've got lemon juice, lime, maraschino liqueur. I didn't realize that was so popular. And then if you'd like, you can filter down more so you can use the tool. So let's say you've got some absinthe and you're not sure what goes with it. Well, we've got these different types of ingredients that can be paired with it. So you can see the maraschino liqueur again is actually pretty popular with the absinthe. So that's one way or two ways to use the tool. Going to our next visualization, I've got the map data. So I'm starting to use that map data and add the data points to that map. So what I have here is looking at those top 10 ingredients that we saw in the other chart, and I'm plotting them on this map, and I'm using the size element as the count of the cocktails, including these ingredients. And so what you see here is kind of the distribution. Now, this is a little difficult to read and really capture the trends because, you know, the size showing this, we see that we have a pretty large sample size from San Francisco and kind of small sizes across. So the results get a little bit skewed, and so it's a little bit hard to understand the trends and what these mean. But if anything, this does kind of show a little bit of a distribution across the US. So that leads me to my last visualization, which extends on that map chart and kind of tries to address that composition question. And so within here, we've got pie charts displayed across the map. And these pie charts show the top 10 alcohol types within each location. So what you see here are the list of alcohols, and this number here indicates the count across all the data set. So immediately you can see that gin is really the most popular by quite a bit. Highlighting this here will show you the different places it shows up in the map. And you get the counts as well for each. So you kind of see the percentage weighting within each location as demonstrated by the pie chart, and then you can actually get the counts as well. So it's giving you a lot of information. A couple of things to note. I was a little surprised that there wasn't any vodka drinks in New York. It looks like, you know, mezcal's more a West Coast thing, which wasn't that surprising. I was a little surprised by this one, cachaca. I had never heard of that, and we see a pretty big weighting down in Florida. So that was just a little bit of interesting things, so we can start to sort of get an understanding of the trends within the data set. So that sums up the work that I've done so far. There is some future work that could be taken on. One of the things I had wanted to do was add in the bar chart to show the ingredients. So as you hover over this main alcohol, you'd see the ingredients that are paired up with that. And that would really combine together those two visualizations into one display. So you have all the information that you need there. Also thought about adding some multi-select capabilities, since our drop downs and the hovering only allow us to see one filtering element. And then the data set itself was a little bit light in terms of there weren't that many records. It was a little skewed towards certain locations. And, you know, it just really had the ingredient list. And so there wasn't anything about, you know, how people enjoyed these cocktails, were they popular? So having kind of a better data set might help with some of these questions, but I think it's a great place to start. So anyways, thank you for listening. That summarizes my project.